So next question is to Jay sir. Jay sir, can you hear me?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Sir, you have been practicing as a field veterinarian for a long time. According to you, how grim is the situation regarding antimicrobial resistance in the field? How often have you come across cases related to antimicrobial resistance?
Uh, to be frank, there has been no scientific study on the prevalence of antimicrobial resistance in field conditions. Based on clinicians' experience, they say that this particular antimicrobial agent is ineffective. And this remains the only technique by which we are measuring or we are quantifying the antimicrobial resistance for now. This is there, and one interesting thing is that those antimicrobials that were sensitive about some 20, 30 years back and widely used, later on they became resistant, and now slowly they are being used again. So resistance has been there for the last 20 or 30 years. When you compare with the olden days when penicillin and tetracycline were the sole antibiotics in use, now there are so many antibiotics, but the resistance is wide now because the agents that are considered resistant, they have gone up in number. Maybe that is it actual resistance or some other factors we have to find out. No scientific study under field condition has been carried out. Ajay.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Jay sir, what is your take on antibiotic stewardship? Do you think veterinarians should be more responsible while prescribing antimicrobials?
Oh yes, definitely Ajay. Veterinarians should be the front runner for antibiotic stewardship. The reason I would say are two. One is that veterinarians play a direct link between the farmer and the government. Because we come into direct contact with the farmers, our advice they take it very seriously and they follow it up also. So apart from the veterinarian, there are no other agencies for the time being who are directly connecting with the farmers in the same extent. So the role of veterinarian is of paramount importance. So veterinarians should be shedding light on the issues of antimicrobial resistance and preventing unnecessary use in animals. So to make the farmer aware, the veterinarian has got the best role to play. That is my take on antimicrobial resistance and veterinarian.
Thank you, sir. Jay sir,
Yes.
have the government implemented any programs to put a stop to AMR from veterinary sector? Are antibiotic sensitivity test kits available in all veterinary hospitals?
Okay, the first part regarding the what government has done. The government has taken the first step to make us aware of the significance of this concept. So from 2 years since the government launched this, there have been a lot of seminars. There have been a lot of continuing veterinary education program. Now we are aware of the issue and we take care of that. But uh, when you ask me if it is adequate, I would say no, because it needs further strengthening of the information being shared with farmers through the support they are getting from the buying community or the milk consumers, that there's a bigger issue involved. The depth of the issue should be highlighted a little more serious. That is my answer to the first question. Any second, please?
Are antibiotic sensitivity test ABST kits available in all veterinary hospitals?
So, Department of Animal Husbandry, Government of Kerala is manufacturing and distributing antibiotic sensitivity kits through the veterinary institutions. Mostly, it is available in district veterinary center, veterinary polyclinic, and also some veterinary hospitals. Though they are available, the quantum is insufficient to continue it throughout the year. Another issue with the this testing reagent that we are getting is that even today, there is a wide difference between the in vitro and in vivo results that we are getting. So, ultimately, what happens is that a veterinarian, after a few months in a particular place, he get familiar with what all diseases are there, what's the best treatment that we can go for that. So the number of persons who depend solely on the this kit, antibiotic sensitivity kit being produced and distributed by Department of Animal Husbandry is comparatively less.
Thank you, sir. Yes, sir. Many of the diseases, such as mastitis, occur primarily because of unhygienic surroundings and milking practices. Do you think if good hygienic practices are followed by farmers, we can counter mastitis and reduce antimicrobial usage in such cases?
Ajay, I earlier mentioned about the commercial farms using antibiotics even without veterinary prescription. So not only in commercial farms, in small scale farms also, mastitis still remains the first and foremost disease entity wherein antibiotics are being used. So what is happening in our commercial farm is that the animals are not let loose. They're kept or they're stalled for 24 hours a day. So this increased lockup time, along with the presence of high humidity in the shed by means of frequent washing, then their urine, then there is no time left for the shed to dry up on its own. All these factors leads to incidents of mastitis in commercial dairy farms. And also the production potential of the cows is so high that even the time between two milkings determines the incidence of mastitis in farms. Unless we stick to the 12-hour gap between milkings, there is practically some difficulties are there. But the higher the gap between two milkings, the incidence of mastitis comes down. So the farmers alone cannot be blamed. In many places, the system wherein the milk is being collected. So unless there is a bulk milk cooler or there is a farm level cooler, the farmers are forced to sell the milk as soon as it is milk, irrespective of the gap between milking. So this also promotes mastitis incidents apart from the shed hygiene and biosecurity that you mentioned to me just now.
Thank you, sir. Jay, sir. How aware are the farmers or pet owners about the growing menace of AMR? Do you think a common dairy farmer will follow withdrawal period before selling milk? So personally, have you had experiences where clients have gone against veterinary advice and stopped the treatment before the course has been completed?
Okay, the level of awareness among farmers is far below the adequate level required. That's my first answer to that. And the same holds good for the pet parents also. Initially, what has happened is that farmers were reluctant to go for antibiotics in cows when you take some 10 or 20 years back. But the reason for that in those days was not the antibiotic resistance awareness, but the concept that when antibiotics are used, the milk production will come down. That was the reason why farmers resisted antibiotics. But with more closed animals and more incidents of mastitis and the inability of farmers to what you call install biosecurity measures, the mastitis cases has gone up. Farmers now know that mastitis can be treated only with antibiotics. So there is no problem to usage of antibiotics. But the level of awareness about antimicrobial resistance is very low, I would say. Can you second part, please, Ajay?
Okay, sir. Uh, so personally, have you had experiences where clients have gone against veterinary advice and stopped the treatment before the course has been completed?
Uh, this is very rare only, and the reason for that may be either the unavailability of the doctor. He moves to another doctor. He may pick up another antibiotic. That is very common. The second is that in conditions like mastitis, wherein we don't get a result in 48 hours, people are forced to switch antibiotics. So apart from that, I don't think farmers on their own changes antibiotic. Even when prescribed intramammary, they go for the full course. So this again linked to the provision of continuous and effective veterinary care, especially in rural hamlets, villages, where at odd hours when the night care facility is low, such in unscientific therapies or unscientific protocols they may follow. Otherwise, no.
Thank you, sir. So the last question is, as a practicing veterinarian, what are your proposals for countering AMR?
Okay. First and foremost is that we should have a protocol. So, like all cases where antibiotics are to be used, there should be a justification for that. So, it should not be based on the whims and fancies of the treating veterinarian. There should be a protocol. At least for major diseases like mastitis, we need to have a treatment protocol. I would cite my own personal example. Right now, we are using nebulization for goats. What happens, especially in winter season, like now in Wayanad, where the temperature at night has come down to 15 and below, and lot of goats are having upper respiratory tract infection and other pneumonia-like conditions like PPR, mycoplasmosis, and all. Conventionally, these kind of treatments we go for parenteral antibiotics. But unlike in human medicine, there is an advantage for us that we can go for nebulization with antibiotics. So just like we go for intramammary preparations, wherein the entire organisms in the animal's body are not exposed to that antibiotic while using intramammary preparation. In nebulization also, we have the same advantage that we can limit or we can curtail the exposure risk of antibiotic to the entire microbes in the body. So, nebulization with antibiotics is allowed in veterinary practice. We go for antibiotics like gentamicin and ceftiofur. So, this is a new information for most of us, and we are having a nebulizer, and we go for nebulization with antibiotics in suspected pneumonia cases. This is apart from the other drugs used like steroids, budesonide. So, we go for antibiotics. Second is that in like as you said earlier, the cleanliness or sanitation in the farm, when it comes to very poor level, the most sufferers are the young calves. So ideal principle of calf rearing is that they should be kept on a dry floor and a dry room. But in Kerala, most of the farms, the calves are kept in the most moist areas. This warrants diagnosis of many infectious diseases like E. coli, septicemia, colibacillosis, joint ill. So when such a condition is reported, there are two options only left for us. One is either cull the calf or we go for antibiotic over 40 to 21 days. So this is one area that we should care for. Newer areas wherein we can limit the use of antibiotics and then improve the sanitation measures, biosecurity measures. Most of the time, what happens is that when goats are brought in, they are exposed to the entire flock. So whatever infection they are carrying, especially when brought from other states like Rajasthan or Gujarat, where the atmospheric humidity is less, they come with the bacteria, and they when they reach here, owing to the climatic stress, they develop the infection like pneumonia. So when in the same flock and when the sheds are covered with plastic sheets at night owing to the winter, all the animals that are having this cough, they develop first upper respiratory tract infection, later on pneumonia, and many fatal diseases like PPR. So here, two aspects which I would suggest is that one is biosecurity, maximum biosecurity that is possible for the farmers. Second is minimizing the use of antibiotics, like I said earlier, intramammary preparation for mastitis, then dry cow therapy, wherein a possible mastitis outbreak after calving is arrested. Third is nebulization for respiratory tract infection. So these three areas I would suggest as alternative to antibiotic therapy. There is also one more point that I would make is that there have been many claims of many herbal medicines being effective in mastitis. But to be honest, I won't suggest such a sole herbal protocol for treating mastitis. It won't work because the window that we are getting to have a reversal of the fibrosis of the udder, which is of significance for the farmer economically. So we got roughly 12 hours time. In the 12 hours, we have to treat and get the animal back to its production. We need antibiotic. So without antibiotic, I cannot think of treating a mastitis once it has occurred. But before occurrence, I would recommend biosecurity, shed hygiene, and exposure of animals to ambient atmosphere outside the shed. Thanks, Ajay.
Thank you so much, sir.